8th of 2020 was The Lonely City by Olivia Laing. So I found this book in Waterstones on one of the tables, and I was attracted to it because loneliness is a topic which I'm quite interested in, to find out kind of how people feel when they don't really have as much social contact as they would like, or if they have social contact but it's not in a way that makes them feel fulfilled so that they don't feel lonely anymore, because obviously you can feel lonely in company as well if you don't feel like you connect with people. So it's just something that I was kind of interested in. So when I saw the book, I thought, oh, maybe this is, because it says Adventures in the Art of Being Alone, so I thought, okay, maybe it's about like looking at bits of kind of art and her talking about like loneliness as well, and like talking about both of those together. So that sounds quite interesting. And when I went to the till at Waterstones, the guy who served me was like, oh, that's really good, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a read. Now, it's absolutely nothing to do with loneliness, really, not in a kind of generic generalized sense. It's more to do with pieces of art and artists in particular, and how they kind of maybe explore an element of loneliness. So I think I was just trying to think of some example artists. So there's kind of Warhol, Andy Warhol, and there's David Hopper, and there's a couple of other ones as well. It's all kind of like modern art. So if you're interested in modern art, it's quite interesting because you can kind of like Google the pictures, the paintings and bits of art. You can kind of Google them and see what they look like and see what she's talking about. This book kind of like doesn't include any kind of pictures or anything, so that you don't really know what she's talking about. Like, you have to go and research it. So that was kind of like a downside to it. I'm just going to flick through and just double check. Yeah, there's no pictures in it. And because of her, I now know about some kind of bits of art. But I would say that artists generally are not stereotypically usual of people. So they're very different. You know, artists are very kind of isolated from society and are quite like eccentric and quite different to general people, and they don't kind of relate to the world in a kind of similar way. And so what she was talking about was kind of like just a general like explanation of how artists have dealt with loneliness, but not really the loneliness that you would think of that everybody else kind of suffers. So it wasn't really relatable in any way at all. And she is kind of talking about her own life as well, but she's being really self-indulgent, and it's not really kind of like linked to, it doesn't kind of link together and follow a kind of thread where you get something out of the book. So it was a bit like, what's the point of reading it? You know, I could have looked at these works of art and kind of, you know, found that out myself really. And she's not a great writer because she's writing in a journalistic style, so it's kind of like a really informal conversational way of writing, so it's not even good as a book. So it's kind of just like, I wouldn't recommend it to read unless you are really interested in modern art. But it's not really about loneliness, it's just about the art really. But having said that, I had looked at some other book reviews of it on YouTube just to see what other people thought about it, and there's some people in there that absolutely love this book. So I guess it depends what you're interested in, and obviously there'll be people out there that like it and people that don't. So I would probably suggest looking at some other people's reviews of it as well to see what they've said about it, because personally I just didn't get anything out of it at all. I didn't really enjoy it, so I wouldn't recommend it.